Tucker for Niner, Sherry, tell Alpha High Group, taxi altitude clear for takeoff.
Altitude clear for takeoff, Alpha High Group, taxi down.
From an 80 Lima Sagan, departure request.
When you're up in the air, your perspective on everything changes. Your mind is freed. Things that seemed impossible, at least very difficult, while on the ground suddenly feel possible from thousands of feet up. It's one of the reasons that I love to fly. Altitude fuels my inspiration. Very few black men become pilots, but I was fortunate and able to do so. This year, I also became the mayor of Gresham, Oregon's 4th largest city, the first black mayor of any major city in Oregon. Serving as an elected official is truly an honor and a thrill of certainly a different kind. So buckle up, folks. Today, we are going to take a high-level look, literally from 1,200 feet, at some of the top priorities and projects of the City Council and what we're working on this year. I'll be your pilot. Welcome aboard and buckle up.
You're thinking about multiple things all at the same time, and that discipline is what drives, I think, successful pilots. And so it absolutely, in my opinion, gives us an edge when we're in leadership to be able to guide decisions, to be able to balance multiple priorities, because we're constantly doing that when we're flying aircraft.
Here in Gresham, there's so much to be proud about. We stand in the shadow of Mount Hood, one of the most beautiful areas in the entire country. We're just right by the mouth of the Gorge, of course, which many times is one of the top 10 most beautiful sites in the world.
So the odd semiconductor plant is going to be down to our left.
From a business perspective and an economic development perspective,
The large building to your left.
Oregon Business Magazine noted that we are forward-thinking in our practices, and that's something that's really important, because making sure that our citizens, our community members, have jobs and opportunities to
Microchip is going to be down to your right.
Create a family wage is critical. Organizations like Hawthorne Hydroponics chose Gresham to call home the largest industrial lease in the Portland metro market in the past 12 months. Companies like Christensen Electric chose to move here recently to have a foundation for their workforce. And because of that, they also have adopted the local elementary school in that community. It's those type of partnerships that we look to here in the city, and that's why we're proud, and that's why we have Gresham Pride. The richness of diversity that exists here is something that is at the foundation of Gresham's fabric. We look forward to embracing that diversity and leveraging that to create one of Oregon's most livable cities. Now, folks, it's been just about a year, just over a year, since we all scrambled home from our offices and our places of work because of COVID. A very microscopic enemy that actually has caused a lot of pain and frustration. We understand that, we know it. But as we look to a reopening, as we look to the opportunity to open things back up, we want to ask you to stay the course, get the vaccines, and life is starting to move somewhat back to what we call the normal, where we can embrace one another, where we can go and have events with family and friends. The City Hall is going through a process right now of opening up, because that is the foundation of our hope. And our city is just now looking towards a new leader, Nina Vetter. Welcome, Nina, to the city of Gresham. And we look forward to your incredible leadership as we begin to move forward in our efforts to continue to make Gresham the most livable city in the entire state of Oregon. All 3 school districts, Reynolds, Gresham Barlow, and Centennial, have all seen capital bonds passed, and to the benefit of our students and our youth. Gresham High School is one of those shining stars as we look at the improvements that have been done there. It's become a beautiful campus that has actually done a phenomenal job of integrating some of the old parts of the school and enhancing the new parts, and we keep that rich history of Gresham High School included in the new facility. But again, all three school districts have seen significant improvements in our school buildings, which we will have the opportunity to leverage in the broader community as we continue the conversation of parks and recreation. Which brings me to another thing that's really exciting is our diversity, equity, and inclusion that's going on. Dr. James Masing and his team has been a phenomenal asset as we have begun to unpack some of the incredible opportunities that now exist in our community to embrace the diverse community that we have in every facet of the concept, on our subcommittees, on our citizen involvement, in our communities, in our leadership. Those things are incredibly important. As we begin to look forward, we've got some exciting things on the horizon. We've got the Parks and Recreation Committee that's going to be started, that's going to be populated. We look forward to such an incredible effort. It was the foundation for me as a young child growing up in the inner city of Kansas City, Kansas, was Parks and Recreation. It's one of the critical things that allowed me to make that transition. Graydon Sports Park is in the southeastern part of Gresham, and we look forward to working with our state officials to be able to move forward such an important part in our community, to engage our youth, to have an opportunity for folks to go and enjoy the great outdoors that we call home here in the Pacific Northwest. The Graydon Sports Park is an extension of that. Our ability to have folks come out and enjoy, where we can host different types of tournaments, soccer fields, baseball fields, and eventually things like playgrounds. Housing and homelessness. We're going to be leveraging the Metro Housing Bond funds to be able to continue to provide such a critical foundation to our folks in Gresham and beyond. We've got a great team that's really working on the unsheltered challenges that we have and getting folks into temporary and thus permanent housing opportunities, but also ensuring that they've got access to wraparound comprehensive services. All of these things are things that we're looking for towards the future. And those opportunities give our folks in our communities jobs and opportunities to get a family wage. And again, we look forward to partnering with organizations like Home Forward, organizations like Human Solutions, as they begin to help us address such a critical problem in our community, which is homelessness. I want to end today by referencing something that's incredibly important: opportunity and equity. Today, you've seen me piloting a plane around Gresham. And one of the things that I want to encourage is BIPOC individuals, Blacks, Indigenous people of color, women, everyone, to take the opportunity to look at aviation and the aviation industry. We have a lack of BIPOC and women in aviation.
Stovall Airport is essentially right in the shadow of a community that speaks over 70 different languages. And so our proximity, to Stovall Airport is beneficial for all the individuals that I just referenced, Black and Indigenous people of color, women, to get into aviation. So I'm a huge proponent. That was a pretty decent landing.
He greased it in.
And again, as community members, your involvement, your volunteerism is critical to our entire success. So please let us know as a city your desires to be a part of such an incredible move forward. Together, we've got so much work to do, work that can bind us together and lift us up at this pivotal and challenging moment in our community's history as we move as the city of Gresham to be one of the most livable cities in the entire state of Oregon. Thank you.